to the side and back. My name is Tokika Uzuru, also known as Toki, and my hair is straightened. Who am I? And in today's video, I will be talking about things that I personally do when I'm feeling mentally or emotionally low. I know from personal experience that you can't always feel your best or at your highest. So often there will be times where you feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel, or you've gone down the solo road to negative town and there's only one way there. But when I try to tell other people that I'm not feeling good, they usually tell me to, oh, well, just stop thinking about whatever is not making you feel good, or, well, it's not happening and it's not going to happen, so why are you worried about it? More often than not, I do not actually know why I'm feeling a certain way because it tends to snowball. Now, one specific way that I kept on hearing, and honestly it just made me worse, was the fake it till you make it idea. Basically, you fake happiness, and at some point that faking ends up turning into you actually being happy. However, one, I've been faking happiness for most, if not all, of my life. And two, I have promised myself that we're not going to be faking it anymore. So instead, I have this other idea that helps me personally, and that is the balancing act, otherwise known as get to neutral. The premise of this entire thing is you can't go from one extreme to another without meeting the middle point. Because when you're sad, when you're depressed, when you feel down, it is very difficult to actually see that you will ever not feel that way, or feel what would be the opposite of all that. P.S. Before I forget, although this works for me, it's also best if you go ahead and seek out professional help, because I don't know everything. I only know what works for me, what's currently working for me, what hasn't worked for me in the past, and that a lot of people tend to have a similar problem. The first step for me is to set a specific time to sit with the feeling. In this specific time, because it has to be timed, you can't just figure out how to you have to know when to stop sitting in the emotion. In this specific time that I set, I have two things that I need to figure out. One, can I label this feeling? Can we find where this rooted from? Can we find the specific thread that we followed here? And once we find the answers to that, we will also end up going like a third step down. We also get into the third question, which is there an immediate solution to this? And do we have to think of a long-term solution for this? Depending on the type of issue we are having and the emotion that it brought, I might have to use that immediate solution so I can get on with the rest of the process of getting back to a neutral state. Depending on the problem or depending on the emotion, I find the immediate solution so that later on in the process I can find a long-term solution if there would be one. And now we're on to step 2, which is basic needs to meet. I don't know about anybody else, but like when I'm feeling emotionally down, I am typically in my room and not talking to pretty much anyone. But once the time is up for me to sit in that feeling or with that feeling, I decide, okay, time's up. It is time for me to move on. I got stuff to do. I go down a list of basic human needs. 1, am I hungry? Usually, yes. 2, how late is it? This depends on what type of tasks I'm able to get done. 3, have I gotten all of my priority tasks done? Which all depends on the specific day. Usually, yes, because I don't end up feeling the feelings until like I'm sitting down for a good hour or so, and it just absolutely hits me because I'm not doing anything to distract me from the feeling itself. And the third step, surprisingly enough, is actually treating myself to feel better. After I've gone through step 1 and 2, which is actually feeling the feeling, finding a solution, and dealing with all of my basic human needs, it is time to do some sort of act of self-care that is treating myself 2 different ways. 1, as a reward for getting through the thing, and 2, as a way to get my mind off of the thing. Because what can happen after I deal with all of my basic human needs is I can start worrying about the thing afterwards. Like, okay, we're back where we started. We don't have much to do right now. And then the snowball effect starts happening again. But these are not like your typical self-care stuff. At least not what I think of when I initially started hearing self-care. Things like making myself some sort of herbal tea, because the last thing I need after dealing with any type of quote-unquote negative emotion or emotion that impacted me negatively is caffeine. Some time outside, because outside air could just literally be the solution. Inner child time, which is just me doing something that you would classify as a kid's activity, such as coloring, painting, sometimes painting myself, or watching some sort of kid show that I remember watching when I was younger that made me happy. Or just a random kids shows that only aired in like the UK. And any type of creative writing, whether that be planning a story, outlining a story, doing research for a specific story, or actually creating the story itself. And then the last one, if depending on how late it is, bedtime, going to sleep. Now, as I said before, these are all escapism type things. And it helps to get my mind off of it after I've sat in the feeling and I've figured out a immediate or long-term solution for it. And I created this 3-step system specifically because I have a tendency of just emotionally numbing myself inadvertently to get through whatever I needed to get done. Now, when I wrote this outline, I was actually going through a low mental/emotional health day. And although I did sit with the feeling, I also just thought of what can we do immediately so I can get stuff done. Then after that, noticing exactly how late it was, I was like, okay, so I gotta eat something because I know I'm hungry. So while I was dealing with step 2, I was also getting myself ready for step 3, which was treating myself. I made myself a cup of tea so I can have it with my dinner, and I ate it and drank the tea. I brought the tea downstairs with me so I can get myself ready for bed because of how late it was. I really wish I would have wrote stuff down about like that specific time, because I don't even remember what I was feeling down about for. I'm feeling way better now. I haven't felt like that in like a good while. So good while as in like maybe a week or so. I do still have little moments in which I don't feel I'm not in a positive mood. I'm more in neutral or numb town. And because of the fact that part of my practice is keeping a balance, I already know that sometimes it's better to move myself from numb town to neutral, and that with extreme highs come extreme lows. So although I might be feeling very excited and happy and stuff, to cushion the fall of extreme high to extreme low in an extremely short amount of time, I get stuff ready in advance to make sure that I have the time to sit down and get myself back to a neutral state, or just have the fall from extreme high to neutral. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I am not a trained professional when it comes to problems of your mental state and emotional state. So if you are feeling a certain way that you don't like personally, you can always seek some sort of professional help. We can now do the stereotypical YouTuber outro, where I don't like that. So now that's done, we can get to, that was a higher one. Why was it higher? I need the acoustics. 3rd time's the charm. And now that all of that is done, it is time to get to, I know I said 3rd time's the charm, but I keep on messing up the clap and it's irritating me. And now that we're done with that, it is time for me to do the stereotypical YouTuber outro, where I, as a stereotypical YouTuber, will ask you to do the following. I'm keeping all of the mess ups in so you can see that I had to do this like 4 times. As always, you can go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Those buttons will be somewhere down below. Hit the notification bell to be notified of whenever I post. And any type of questions, comments, concerns can be put into the comments section that is down below most likely. With all that being said, my name is Tokika Uzuru, also known as Toki, and this is Toki saying Toki out.